How come?
Welcome to the Harpswell Select Board meeting of December 18th, 2025. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. Couple of quick changes here. We're going to move merit meeting shellfish to 5.5. Okay. And recommendations for emergency services building to, what I tell you?
You said 8.5.
8.5.
8.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Speed things along. Public comment? Nope. Select board announcements?
I have one thing. The wood out front out here is free for emergencies, and it seems to be disappearing very fast. So don't use this as your regular wood supply. We all know what constitutes an emergency. I mean, your furnaces run out of oil, and you can't get a delivery till Monday, and come and get some wood. But if you need a cord of wood and you can't afford it, we can fix you up. Don't use this as your regular wood supply. Save it for emergencies.
Thanks, David. Town administrators report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. I'll be brief. I know we have a lot on the agenda tonight, but I did just want to report out about the public meeting we had over at Harpswell Island School on the issue of Clark Cove. And I wanted you to know that the staff is taking those public comments into consideration, and we're working to kind of develop a package of information and kind of report back to the board in a few weeks on next steps. So I just wanted you to know that we were following through on listening to those comments and trying to incorporate some of those concerns into an overall report, and we'll have some next steps for you. So that's it for my administrator's report tonight.
All right. Consent agenda?
Move the consent agenda, the approval of the minutes, accept Bowdoin College donation, committee resignation, which I would accept with regret. He's been a very good member of the committee, and authorization of warrants.
Yep. And as far as Bowdoin College goes, remind me in a year from now, open up discussions again.
Yep.
It's that time. All right. I second it. All in favor? Here we go. All right. What is it? Merit meeting, shellfish, First Amendment, and restated lease, landlord's subordination, and consent.
So we have Steve Levesque here tonight. He is a former executive director at Brunswick Landing. He has served as the town's kind of quasi-economic development director under contract with us, and he's worked on our lease agreement with the tenant at the Marine Business District at Mitchell Field, which he's going to talk about the update tonight.
Good evening and happy holidays, and it's great to be in my second favorite town in Maine. So just kind of give you a little history. As you recall, 2 years ago, we approved a lease for Merry Meeting Shellfish at Mitchell Field for a oyster hatchery. And now we're going to be restating the lease and amending it. There's some legal reasons why the tenant wanted to do a restatement of the lease. Number one is they've changed their name. So we originally did Merry Meeting Shellfish Company was a Delaware corporation, and now they become a Maine LLC. So we're making that change. So that's the first thing. We did a 5-year lease. And there's 3 years left on that lease. So we're changing the name to Merry Meeting Shellfish LLC, a Maine LLC. The second one is, so the original lease included Parcel A, which is 1.08 acres, which included about an 1,800 square foot building and a little over an acre of land. And in the lease, we said, well, you're going to have to put a septic system in. And after their evaluation, they said we can't do it on that parcel. So they're basically adding another piece of land, another half acre, 0.47 acres of land, which is known as Lot D on the map.
Steve, excuse me, has that been approved for septic?
Has been approved,
Okay,
yes.
good.
Has been approved. The planning board approved the subdivision for that, and obviously it has to go through
It has to go through code enforcement.
Code
but
enforcement
they
for the
have a
septic system.
application in for that site.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And they'll have until June 30th to put that in, just because of the winter construction. So that's part of the lease there. So they'll be adding 0.47 acres just for the septic system. It crosses a roadway, and there'll be part of the lease is an easement across that roadway for the lines going to and from that septic system. So we're adding that, and the new lease amendment for that area, it starts January 1st. So they'll be starting January 1st. There'll be an additional payment for that. We're keeping the same rate as the Lot A, obviously with the 3% extension, and they all go to an extra 3% next year. And the rent schedule is shown in Exhibit B for you there as well. They maintain their right of first refusal on the remaining 2 acres, 2.06 acres, which is Lot B on the map. There has to be a plan for the reuse of that property, which has to be approved by the town. And there'll be a new negotiated rate at market rate for that parcel. So they have a right of first refusal, but if they do exercise it, then we'll be back on that issue. As I mentioned, the septic system has to be in by June 30th, and it stays with the property. So if Mary Meeting leaves the property, we have a septic system, building with a septic system that can be leased to somebody.
They're not going to dig it up and take it with them?
No.
Okay, good.
No, we're not going to let them do that. The original lease had a $50,000 surety restoration bond that basically said for anything they put in, like their infrastructure for their intake and discharge lines for their hatchery to the ocean, there's a $50,000 restoration bond. That's actually been in place now. So we have that in place. And what that does is obviously is if they leave, the lease leaves, they leave. We want them to remove that intake unless, obviously, there's a company that comes in and wants to use it. But then if they don't, for some reason, then we have the money, the bond to pull from to take care of that issue for the town. So that protects the town. Any, standard lease, any building alterations, we have to give consent to any building improvements and alterations to that property. The easement across the roadway for the septic system, any new infrastructure, obviously has to be maintained and managed, and obviously when they leave, we have to negotiate what happens with the infrastructure in the buildings, the leasehold improvements, and other things. So it's a fairly standard lease around that. By the way, the septic system is all paid for, will be paid for by Mary Meeting. They also have a portable water system. Because they originally they thought they could drill a well, but because of the DEP restrictions and PFAS and everything else, they decided they're just going to bring water in for their domestic uses, for their washrooms and that type of thing, not for processing.
Yep.
And that's fairly standard, as you folks know. So that's kind of the guts of the lease amendment and restated amendment. So. We also have a part 2 of this that I can get to in a minute. Be happy to answer any questions.
Good so far.
No, I butted it in the middle with my questions already, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Hang on. Don Miskill. Oh, Don, come up.
Don Misko, Mitchfield Stewart. Do you know, are they going to cut the road or are they going to drill underneath it?
They'll go underneath it.
Okay, thanks.
Or might cross it and then they'll fix it, but they have to work with the town on that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just here to answer any questions.
Oh, yeah. I've been through it with Christie anyway, so I'm good with it.
Yep,
Just need a motion
Did
to
you want
approve.
to move and approve that now?
Yeah.
yeah, I so move.
I
Move to
second it.
approve
And would you authorize me to sign it, and then I won't have to
I did earlier.
find you?
Yeah, I'll move to have Christie sign it.
Okay,
That's right. I don't see any discussion on this, so all in favor?
thank you.
All right.
The second element to this is, and this is allowed for in the lease, is a consent and subordination agreement. So fairly standard that when you have a tenant and they want to go borrow money from a bank, or in this case, Finance Authority of Maine, that the lending entity basically requires consent. And they're going to borrow money for some of their infrastructure activities, and you have a copy of that consent agreement with you. But it so really allows FAME to finance their improvements. It's a fairly standard document, and some of the improvements that they want to finance with FAME include the intake pumps, LED lights for their algae production room, algae bags, and a new heat pump installation in their algae production room. So it's fairly standard that we do a subordination agreement as part of a landlord situation. It doesn't remove any of our rights. It just gives FAME authority on those equipments to, for some reason, if the company doesn't perform, they can actually come in and it's in the lease, but they still have to pay us and perform and everything else. So it's fairly standard.
I move we approve that and authorize Christie to sign it.
Second it. I don't see any discussion, so all in favor?
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. You folks have a great holiday.
You too.
All right.
All right,
we
now I
have-
get to go back to my favorite town,
We staying in Brunswick?
Greenville.
Yeah, I do.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah.
All right. Status of comprehensive plan. We're getting into 5 years here.
Oh, I'm stretching it out as long as possible. My name is Al LeGros. Good evening, everybody. I'm the Chair of the Comprehensive Plan Task Force. And I want to bring everybody up to speed relatively briefly on where we stand. As you know, last November, the plan was approved by the voters, not unanimously, but by an overwhelming margin. And while that was going on, the plan had been forwarded to the state for its comments to make sure that we had complied with everything that they wanted to see, that it was complete and so on. We did receive many comments on the plan, but there are also some things that the state wanted us to do before they would deem it complete. And I'd like to briefly summarize sort of the key parts of that. This plan was really worked over, I think, by the state. As a matter of fact, when I first got the input, there were like 20 or 30 pages of comments, and I said, oh, my God. But as I looked through the comments, I would classify many of them as happy to glad type things, change this word to that word, and so on. Other parts were a little bit more substantive, and as I said, those are the things that I want to focus on tonight. I did meet with Christie, Margaret, Matt Gilley, Amy Heibel was there as well. We had a meeting a couple of weeks ago to kind of go over what we looked at. We don't think there are any showstoppers. We think that it's a matter of plowing through these things and taking necessary action to clear the board. 6 different offices or agencies in the state participated in this review, and as well as the Midcoast Council of Governments. So a lot of eyes were focused on this particular report. Let me just go through some of the key things as I see them. They were looking for an estimate as to how many new residential and commercial industrial units would likely occur in the next 10 years. Now, we put something in the report that said over the last 20 years, between 20 and 25 residential units per year. That includes new construction and I think tear down and rebuild. And the implication, I think, was that we saw something like that continuing over the next 10 years. But we're going to try to refine that. We'll work with code enforcement to get the best numbers that we can. But I think that's something that can be addressed in a straightforward fashion. Secondly, they asked us to clarify how natural resources would be protected from future development. Now, to some extent, a lot of that is contained in some of our ordinances. But we're going to take a look at that section of the plan to see if we can tidy that up and be more definitive about how we see that unfolding. Third, they want to see a capital investment plan that supports future land use. We did mention the capital improvement plan or program in the town, but we didn't necessarily tie it directly to future land use. The things that kind of pop into my head, ironically, are things like Mitchell Field, which is not only being improved in terms of utility, but also hardening in terms of against future storms and things like that. And so I'm going to go through and look along with the task force to see if we can come up with some good examples of how our capital plan can support future land use. Fourth, they wanted to see something that would ensure our code enforcement office has the tools and training necessary to enforce land use regulations. And I might take the opportunity now. I'm not sure exactly what all the training is that you folks get, but do you have to be certified by the state or anybody?
Yes, by the state.
Okay. So we'll just make that clear in the updated plan, the improved plan, that is something that we've got our eyes on and we're going to make sure it happens. Now, the last thing was kind of confusing to me because I think, as most of you know, we submitted a letter along with the plan requesting that we be exempted from growth areas. And there were a number of reasons for that: soil, geography, and among other things. They want to see that as part of the physical plan itself. We attached it as a letter. That's what we were advised to do, and so that's the approach that we took. So we will take steps to incorporate that at the appropriate places in the plan to make sure that's a part of the plan. And this is what we'll bring forward in the next couple of months. So here's what I see happening as we look forward into the future. We'll take January, we'll plow through this, make the changes necessary. We'll get it to the state in February sometime, no later than mid-February, hopefully. The state said they'd like 10 working days, I believe, to get feedback to us. That will put us at a place before next town meeting, hopefully before public hearing and then town meeting, so that we can come to the community and say we have this nailed down and the state approves it. So that's kind of the rough timeline that I see. I am going to ask the task force to meet probably starting the second week in January to give our New Year revelers a chance to come home and come back and so on. I'm looking tentatively at the 6th of January, which I think is the first Tuesday in the month, to go to the task force. So that's where we are. Again, I want to emphasize that I don't see any real showstoppers here. I think it's a matter of clarifying a few things and making sure that we comply with the things that the state is asking us to do.
Yeah, very good. Without the attachments, I don't have the great details, but the items don't seem too draconian. I think you should be able to do it.
Some things, for example, one of the comments was, don't use the word public utilities, use municipal. There are things like that in there. So it goes from that level to some of the things that I mentioned before. So I feel confident that we can get through this and bring something forward in time for a public hearing before March 14th town meeting.
The full comments, I believe, are posted on our website. Is that correct? Yeah.
They are, and also, just to let you know, we sent it out to the task force members, so they're not going to come into the January 6th meeting totally unaware here, and they've been looking at this for a couple of weeks now, so.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
thanks for sticking with it. You're my hero.
Hey, don't give up yet.
I don't know how you're doing it.
We're almost there.
All right,
All right, thank you, folks.
All right.
thank you.
All right. Big Duck LLC wharf application, 15 Lupine Lane, tax map 56, lot 106.
Tim Clark with Codes. We had a site visit at 15 Lupine Lane, which is adjacent or runs parallel with Governor's Point, to give people another reference. It's a new lot, so it's quite a walk, but we had quite a few people come for the site visit. Harbor Master, one abutter, and some other municipality people. Really wasn't any objections to the site wharf. We had the one abutters just mentioned that she swims in this area, but I feel that this wharf and ramp and float go parallel and toward the open water, does not cross the small cove that it's in, if that makes sense. Doesn't cut it in half, the cove in half, it goes with the length of the cove. So I guess I feel if the harbor master feels that they can sign off as nothing with navigation,
Yep.
then I feel the same, it applies.
No, the diggers used to use this as a seating area. I don't know if they still do.
When they redid the culvert, it kind of went to hell.
Oh, but Elsa Mart's Bridge in there, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah.
told. We did not see any active activity.
Okay.
And no other clammers have voiced any concerns about this area.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So with that, the only other thing that I did want to bring to the Select Board's attention is that as of last October, the Army Corps has decided not to do permits. We will be putting together with them a self-verification pamphlet or paper that each wharf or permit person will have to sign off on, so that still those things that they were looking at will be addressed,
Yep.
since we have it in our ordinance. But I want to make sure you're aware of that.
Should streamline it.
Yes, well, let's hope.
I guess, yeah.
Yep, I don't see any problem with it. I move to approve the application. As the harbor master indicates, there's no hazard to navigation, no injury to the rights of others in relation to fishing, fouling, or navigating.
Second.
Any discussion on this? I don't see any. All in favor? All righty. Memorandum of understanding with Harpswell Aging at Home.
So Mike Drake, our fire administrator, will address this item.
Good evening, Mike Drake, Fire Administrator. As everyone kind of knows, the town has had a durable medical equipment loan program for quite some time. It kind of started in the Bailey Island Station. Howe was part of it in the beginning. It kind of went to the OBI Fire Department, then it got transferred up to the town. So it does take up quite a bit of my time, but it's worked out well. I think it's a spectacular program. And in talking with a couple of the management personnel in Ha, we think that a partnership would make more outreach, more equipment available to people, so that we'd be able to touch more people that need help in the town.
Doesn't, on number 3 in here, it says the borrower will maintain the equipment only at the address listed above, and that includes walkers and wheelchairs, which I'm assuming they would take somewhere other than their home. And number 6 is liability insurance on the equipment.
That's an existing, let me see.
would
This
think a
was
waiver,
the
but
last
just,
agreement that we had with Ha.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't required liability insurance.
I would think that just a,
I wonder if this is the most recent agreement for the loan equipment.
It's the one that was most recent in the file.
Huh.
We can strike
We
that
can
if you
tweak
guys
that.
want.
Yeah, I don't know how they would get
Yeah, no.
liability insurance for a wheelchair.
no, but I mean, something to release us from liability, but I mean, I don't know that they have insurance.
Yeah, we have not required insurance.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
We have not.
What else?
Number 7 takes care of the liability.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, so we might just remove 6.
Take 6 out, don't even need it. Yeah, I guess other than those couple things there, it works.
Get rid of
Okay.
6.
Would you like me to take number 6 out and then come
Yes,
back to you
please. That
guys?
doesn't,
Yeah.
that's not
No,
necessary.
I don't think you need to come back. I think just removing 6. will
Okay,
be
remove
fine.
it and then,
Yep.
Just
But he also-
See
update
everyone.
the form.
But he also had the concern about number 3.
Oh.
They've got to be able to bring wheelchairs to other
Oh.
locations.
yeah,
Yeah.
You
I'll
wanna-
reword it.
You
How's
want
that?
to revise
Okay, yeah.
3? Okay.
I'll reword it.
All right.
The agreement with HA gives them the authority to go to the generator building and take some of the equipment that's excess.
Yep.
We keep a small amount here in the office, but there is some in that building as well.
Yep, other than the stated 3 and 6, which I'm going to trust you on 3, and you're going to take 6 out, I move we approve.
I'll take care of it.
Yep. Is that your motion?
That's my motion. Move we approve it.
I second it. Any discussion on this? None? All in favor?
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
All right. Recommendation for emergency service building construction manager.
Yes, so I'm going to give a little bit of background on this item. In June, the Harpswell voters approved a $6 million bond to build a centralized emergency services building, or put it in a central location in Harpswell. And we have previously worked with the architectural firm, Port City Architecture, and Andy Highland is here tonight from that entity. We worked with him on developing a conceptual plan. The proposed location is near the entrance to the recycling center, and the voters essentially approved that concept and the money for that concept. But now we're getting into the details, the weeds, as they say. And so part of what the architectural firm recommended was that the town go out and do a kind of an RFP, RFQ process to select a construction manager that would, take responsibility for this project. And we issued that RFP, RFQ, and had 14 companies respond to that. So I think there was a tremendous amount of interest in building this facility in Harpswell. We were able to kind of narrow it down to 6. We asked these 6 firms additional questions so that we could then narrow it down to 3 entities that we interviewed. Each interview was an hour long. The companies came with their teams, and we asked them a series of questions. And in the end, the interview team, the members of that team were the fire chiefs in Harpswell. So we have 2 fire chiefs. We have Chief Wallace, who is here tonight, and we have Chief Mercier. And then also Mike Drake, the fire administrator, was part of the team, and myself, and the architect, Andy Highland. In the end, we are recommending Wright Ryan as the firm that the town of Harpswell should hire for taking on the construction manager role in this project. This company is very well-known in the state of Maine. They take on a lot of projects. They have assembled some really strong teams. They manage their subcontractors really well. We did reference checks, talked to entities that had utilized their services, and they all came back with very strong references. So I know Cordelia Pittman is here tonight from Wright Ryan, and Andy Highland also, as I said, is here. And maybe you want to hear some more detail from Andy perhaps first, and then from Wright Ryan after
Sure,
that. But
yep.
I would say that this was a unanimous recommendation of the committee to move forward with the town of Harpswell hiring Wright Ryan for this role. Andy, would you like to add some more to that?
Just that, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just that I thought that the response was fantastic. We were expecting about 6, maybe, applications from construction managers. And again, this is the process, construction management at risk, that we really recommend to all municipalities. I think it takes a lot of the risk out for the town. It's essentially they're doing the construction, but they're also going to be with us at the design portion and doing budget checks as we begin and go through the design process for the construction documents and make sure that we stay on budget, stay within the town's means. So we're very happy. I've worked with Cordelia before on projects, on other public safety projects, and we're excited to work with them and think that it's a great choice. So thank you.
Cordelia, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. So Andy and everyone, thank you. Andy, thank you so much. That was a lovely introduction. I'm Cordelia Pittman. I'm the Vice President of Project Development at Wright Ryan Construction. Wright Ryan has been around for 40 years. And at this point, I would say that 90% of our work is in this actual format, construction manager at risk. It is a really strong way to get the town the project you're looking for in the budget you have in the time that you have. We have worked with a number of different municipalities on various types of police departments, public service projects, emergency facilities, et cetera. So we do have a good understanding of what's required in these facilities, but we're here to listen and learn what your specific needs are and what is needed in your specific site. And sort of to that end, we are actually working kind of like up the road and then down a finger at what's called Lobster Lane. We're doing a big, we're actually working on the Quahog Bay lab there. And when we have done an awful lot of work up the road from you guys on Bowdoin campus. So, which means we have some really good relationships with a lot of local subcontractors and suppliers who, have worked with us for a long time, but we will be able to bring you good competitive bids from folks who are really capable of doing this project and who want to work with the town of Harpswell. I mean, I would say that the interest you got just shows how really nice a project this is. So we appreciate being selected, and we are excited to sit down and work with you all. And as Andy said, we've worked together in the past and have always enjoyed working with Port City and know that they do a great product. So we're incredibly thankful for being selected and very excited to sit down and start working with you.
Oh, great.
Any questions?
I think tonight we'll get the ball rolling.
Yeah, let's get moving on it.
We need a formal vote.
Yeah, I move that we go with Wright Ryan for the construction, oversee the construction.
I second it. Any discussion? Any comments on this out there?
We will have to work out our contract details, but at
Apparently
least
the
you're,
volume's not up at home.
pardon? Oh, you're getting a message.
No,
but-
it has to be muted on this for it to go through. They can hear us and we can hear them.
Oh, okay.
I think we wanted you to endorse the committee's recommendation or the interview team's recommendation, so
Nope.
that's great.
I do. I was out of town. I couldn't be there, but you kept me informed of how things were going. There were no bad choices.
No, they're strong companies, but
Yeah, some of these decisions are kind of tough to make sometimes. I've been involved in a lot of them.
Yep.
Yep. So we certainly endorse here that, the way you did it, and
and we'll move forward with
yep.
the contract and agreement, et cetera.
Who shall sign the contract?
Pardon? Well, I think it'll come back to the board when we
All three of us?
get that, but that won't preclude us from beginning to work together on certain aspects.
Yep. So all in favor?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you both for joining the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
look forward to continuing. This is
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks.
All right. Mitchell Field matters. Lakeside Concrete Contract Extension.
So yes, we ran into a bit of a delay, just primarily having to do with getting the disposal permit in place. But I will say that Lakeside mobilized a lot of equipment recently, and they've started the destruction process, the demolition process. But because it's late, getting later in December, I should say, we talked about having an extension through January. And so we've also had this question out there for a while about whether or not we should take the foundation out at this time, that there may be some economy of scale in doing that now. So since we got kind of a late start on this, it's possible that could be done within this extension timeframe.
Same price?
No, there would be an amendment, a contract amendment, but we're currently under budget on the project. They have suggested that they could probably remove the foundation for about $40,000. Now, that would not include filling the area where the concrete is, so there's another estimate of potentially $20,000 for that piece, but they did suggest maybe there is some fill on site that we might use for that purpose. So I was going to ask the board if you would just authorize
For God's
me
sake, we got the
to work
sausage.
on a contract amendment potentially and come back to you at your January 8th meeting with that. Because
Yeah.
we've got to work through some
Sure, I like that,
issues.
yeah. So, yeah.
But I think it's considered doable at this point,
Yeah.
so.
It'd be nice to get everything cleaned up.
Yeah.
but-
I mean, if we use some of the existing material on site, we do have to get that tested, so it, we may run into, that it's not all done by the end of January. We still have this piece about,
the
filling in
meantime-
the hole, reseeding, that kind of thing.
Could be a
But I-
separate contract with somebody else.
It could be.
In the meantime, you want an
could
extension
be.
to the 31st.
I would love that, and I would like to make sure you're on board with me working on that contract amendment.
Yes, on all the
Okay.
above, and I move that we extend it to the 31st.
You might have some comments, too.
Yep, I second it, and we'll ask for. Any discussion on this?
What a surprise, Don's up here.
Not really. I mean, they mobilized yesterday and started taking the building apart today. And they were hard at it, and they're going to keep going. This extension, I'm sure the question out there is, are we going to be closed through January 31? Not necessarily. Whenever the work on the building and the site is done, then we will be done with the closure of the field, and we could reopen the parking lot at some point.
All right.
But I think it's the right thing to do. The closure has worked really well. For those people that live on Route 123, there's been a steady diet of Auburn aggregate trucks running back and
Oh, yeah,
forth.
same.
That's incredible.
Before you go any
Really.
further, David,
yeah.
all in favor? Yeah.
So the extension you've approved,
Yes.
keeping the road closure
Right.
approved, and I'll be working on a contract amendment.
Right.
That's
And I'll
likely to-
provide an update diagram for the website that will list the new date,
Okay,
because the original ones only said it's December 31. And I'll update the sign at the field.
and Dawn sent us a picture today, where part of the building has been removed.
The whole end of it.
Yeah, they have 4 construction dumpsters in the parking lot, and they're taking it apart, and then they're segregating the various items. The disposal items for the hazardous material are in one, metal in another, wood and cinder block and whatever else is in the other ones. So they're not slowing down at all.
Okay.
Yep. Rules?
Sure, yeah.
We submitted a document that had been done a while ago. It's amendment to the rules at Mitchell Field. None of them are significant. They're more wording changes than anything and updating. The only significant one would be that we updated the rules to reflect what the current dog rules are after the Canine Task Force. Everything else is just mostly wordsmithing. But once we get that done, then I can have Katie print new signs and we'll post those.
Any changes in the leash laws?
No, not varying from the current
10 to 4.
Right. Yeah.
Canine Task Force rules.
Yeah, you need an improvement on that, or you
I would say so. You know, people would ask, because the rules are approved by the select board.
I would move that we approve this.
Second it? No more discussion, all in favor?
Thanks. And I'll just take a second briefly update folks out there. We had a production meeting on Tuesday with Wyman and Simpson. Basically the ramp into the water is complete with all the prep work that needs to be done. They are in the process right now of pouring 27 concrete panels, which will form the actual surface. They're being poured up in Richmond, and then they'll be brought down. They'll start at the bottom and work their way up so that they can work with the tide faster. The company that's doing the pile driving to put the 5 pilings in is on site. It's quite the production. They're up on stilts, and we had quite a discussion at the production meeting because they split one of the piles when they were driving it in through the rock. So they're putting a cap on the bottom of them, so that, and then they worked with GEI on a different method. But that's moving forward. The concrete, what we used to call the concrete pad area, is completely redone. I mean, they dug down about 4 feet. They put a new drainage system in. Then they backfilled part of it, and then the top. The reason for all the aggregate trucks is the top 2 feet or so of that is all real fine gravel.
3/4 inch gravel.
Yeah,
That's what they've
they're
been putting in.
basically they're back to level. They've smoothed out the sausage. It is quite large. There is a lot of dirt, and people didn't realize, I think too, is they removed about 3 to 4 feet of the causeway. So all of that is in that pile too, and they're backfilling that. But they expect, just so everybody knows, they expect to be done with the work they're going to do before the paving plants reopen somewhere in January. And then there would be a hiatus period until the paving plants open, and then they'd come back and finish the causeway and any other work that needs to be done.
So on schedule, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Everything's on schedule?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Good.
Any questions?
Nope. Good to go.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Don.
All right. Emergency service vehicles, specifications for OBI 1-ton pickup.
I'm glad
and-
you're
I
keeping
believe
track of it.
Chief Wallace is going
What's
to
that?
speak to these
I'm glad you're
items.
keeping track of where we are, because
Oh, I get big marks.
Hello, Ben Wallace from Oars Bailey Island, Kings Harbor. So 2 weeks ago, Emergency Vehicle Committee met, and we have 2 recommendations for your consideration. One is a bid for a pickup truck for Oars Bailey Islands. It's a pretty simple build, so that should go out to bid, no problem. It's basically a 1-ton pickup truck with a lift gate and a light package and a small winch on the front. The other item is we're asking the board's consideration of sole sourcing a replacement for a squad truck at Cundy's Harbor. And for those that aren't aware, there's been some articles in the press about it the last year or so. Private equity's been gobbling up the large fire truck manufacturers. And so they're more interested in building what they want to build rather than what we want to buy. So after over 2 years of trying to get a proposal, we finally managed to get one company that came back to us with a proposal that would suit our needs. That's Bulldog Emergency Vehicles out of Massachusetts. And we believe they have the capability to give us a good project. But we're asking for you to sole source that project rather than put that particular truck out to bid.
yeah, I would agree with you from what I've seen already here. I approve I would move that we approve the sole sourcing, and that we, you know, let's get some bids and see where we're standing. I move that we send them out to bid.
Yeah. I second it. Anything else on this? No.
Ben, when do you think, or Chief Wallace, I'm sorry, when do you think that you would have a contract for the vehicle? How long might that take to?
For the squad truck?
Yeah, well, yes,
Cundy's
yes,
Harbor, yeah.
yes, that vehicle, yeah.
Well, it's been put on hold till tonight, so I guess what I need to do is get in touch with you and find out
I didn't know if you thought it would be 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks.
I think we can get it, I suspect that we can have the final, ready to go to signature spec done within a month easy.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, the majority of it's done. to
And
the
how
point
long to build the truck after that?
About 9 or 10 months.
Okay,
So the pickup truck will be here long before
Right.
that truck is, so.
right. Yeah, okay, thank you.
You might want to mention the ambulance schedule. also.
Yeah, so the third thing that the emergency vehicle committee did 2 weeks ago was we came up with an updated recommendation for emergency vehicles that cover through 2033, I believe, is the first 5 years obviously is a lot more set in stone, but we wanted to give something the town could plan on. These trucks, as you're all aware, are getting not less expensive, but exceeding the rate of typical interest rates going up. So, the last engine the town bought was, I believe, $565,000, and that same truck today is probably close to $800,000. That's 2.5 years later. So those trucks are getting crazy expensive. And again, we're kind of at whims with the market right now. So hopefully by the time we get around to buying another engine, things will have calmed down.
Yeah, it'd be
get
a
a
million.
smaller one.
It'd be a million soon.
I can remember when ladder trucks crossed the $1 million mark, and that was about 5 years ago, and all of us kind of like, so
Yeah.
now they're closer to $2 million for a ladder truck.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you all set?
Yes.
I think so.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. All righty. Set annual town meeting date of March 14th.
Yeah, it's never too early to think about that.
Never is.
So, March 14th, the second Saturday of March, and the town clerk would like to start making plans for all the things that need to be done in preparation for that. So we need a formal vote by the board to set the annual town meeting for March 14th, 2026.
So move.
Seconded.
And would you like the time, the business meeting, to start at 10?
Sure, it's
Okay.
normal, right?
Yep.
Yep. All in favor?
And I think the other thing that kind of goes hand in hand with that is, we'd like the board to be thinking about whether or not you would like any items voted on by secret ballot. If that's the case, they have to be provided to the clerk 60 days in advance of that March 14th date. And that allows time for ballots to get printed, and they have to be available to voters 30 days before
We
that
got-
March
We got
14th.
3 weeks to think
So,
about it.
so you've got a little bit of time to think about if there are any items that you would like
Probably next
put on the
meeting.
secret ballot.
Be sometime in January, right?
Probably that January 8th meeting is
Yeah.
when we will ask you for a final vote. Now, Curtis Library is one that you go back and forth. Some years you have it on the
Yeah,
floor, some
yeah.
years on a ballot,
Yeah,
so,
switch it up.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just want you to be thinking about that.
Yep.
Thinking about it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, the deadline 13th. All right. Moving on then.
Yep.
Public comment? Nope. Other business?
You're going to ask about the budget meeting with the budget committee? Did you want to put some dates out there?
A budget
Go ahead.
reconciliation meeting with the Budget Advisory Committee. And they tossed out some dates today. January 8th before your select board meeting,
Sure.
or Monday, January 12th.
I'm good with January 8th. You, David?
Yeah.
Do you want to do
Yeah.
5 PM before your select board
Yeah,
meeting?
Yeah, yeah, an hour, that should make enough, yeah.
Wonderful, thank you.
I have a question about the boat that's up here at the recycling center. Where are we with that?
Oh, we're putting another one up there.
Yeah, yeah.
It looked lonely.
The problem
We're
is.
putting another one up there?
No, town boat's going.
The problem is that the bilge is full of really nasty stuff, and so it's got to be dealt with. And Chuck, the meeting at the recycling committee last night, Chuck was suggesting that the guy who comes and grinds up the wood has a big excavator. He could bring a couple of dumpsters and crunch that thing up and make it go away. And
I think we need Clean Harbors there first.
yeah, we do.
They were scheduled, and then the thing happened at the base,
Right.
And
Yeah.
they couldn't get down to,
We do need to deal with the bilge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got to be moved by
I think he said by June.
June
but-
1st.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's going to come with
yeah,
it.
yeah.
so check with Clean Harbors then.
Are you waiting on the
Yep.
attorney for that?
Well, I think, we're just gonna make sure we get a little bit of legal advice that we can take care of this boat at taxpayer expense.
Right, because I understand.
We
that
have
part of it. Yeah,
attempted
it's up in
to-
the air, yeah.
I thought that was settled.
There was a summons, I think, to court.
Right, there was a
and
court date.
I don't know if the person showed up, so I've gotta follow up on that.
Okay.
I thought it was still in the works.
All right. If there's nothing else, we're adjourned.